Uh, well, one thing, and this is a good segue into this topic. Let's hit the importance of activism.
Mm, okay.
You know
So
what I mean?
okay. So well, first of all, Nike, when we decided to do this topic, why did we decide to do it? What we discussed when we talked about the importance of activism.
Well, all of our topics tonight seem to be a little bit related.
Mm,
Um, because of there's been a few, well, more than a few shootings.
mm,
A lot of gun violence, especially here in
mm,
Philly.
right,
Um, they got the death of Patrick Lyola.
right,
Uh, he got shot in the back of the head while he was laying on the ground from
running,
by a cop. You know what I mean?
right.
And it's like the reason we had the importance of activism is because we're getting to the point where if we don't have change soon, uh, things are really going to get bad for Black people in this country.
Mm.
And well, things are already bad for
You're
Black
right.
people in
Get
this country.
worse.
But
Things gonna get
if
worse.
it gets worse, if it gets too much worse,
Mm.
there's going to be, I don't
Where
know.
are we
I don't know
headed?
if it'll
Right.
be an uprising or if it'll be like I just don't know. But it's
Right.
really getting to the point where we need activism. We need
Absolutely.
activism because we need change, right?
Mm.
Um, the thing that gets me about our situations, right, is okay. So there was a gap between George Floyd. Who was the last victim of a police shooting? Oh no, it was the what was it? Uh, the lady that shot the guys uh, reaching for the taser, right?
Oh, yeah, in the car. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is what I'm saying is that can't be the only time that we get out marching
Mm.
and protesting and you know getting angry and starting to talk about what's going on. We have to
Hmm.
be vigilant. Like
All the time.
we can't wait until there's a another shooting, or we
Mm.
can't wait until there's another some injustice or whatever. We have to. This is something that has to be done
All going. That's
even
right.
on a norm. Like
That's
you know what
right.
I mean. So we need to make sure that our people communicate and unite. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because nobody's coming to save us.
Right.
I know today is Easter, and a lot of
Right.
people think Jesus is going to come back and help
Hmm.
us out, uh,
Hmm.
but that ain't happening.
Right.
It's not
Right.
happening.
Well, I
That's
mean,
not the way it will work.
I think, like you said, though, man. We have to be vigilant. We can't let our guard down.
Right.
I think that, and I know we last night started talking about it. It veered into politics, and that's a part of activism, also.
Right.
You have to make sure that people that you're supporting and putting in the office are looking out for your best interest, man. Because like you said, you can't rest. And I
Right.
think too often, um, we sometimes get lulled to sleep thinking that we're there and that we've made it and that
Right.
we no longer have to be involved. But no, activism, activism could never stop.
Right.
And that's why I said one time before, our form of government, democracy should be a verb because it never ends. You have to stay vigilant,
Right.
and it's the yin and the yang. You make progress where you have people out there that don't like the progress that you're making and thinking that you're taking something from them. So they attempt to pass laws to roll things back.
Right.
And we can't afford to let that happen.
And see,
We
that's
can't
another
afford it.
thing why we have to stay vigilant with our activism.
Mm,
Because the people that are in politics sometimes don't have our best interests,
that's right.
you know, in their agenda, right?
Right.
were talking last night. It's like the Bloods and the Crips, right?
Right.
You got you know, people on the Republican side that are worse politicians than the
Right.
people on the Democratic side, in my opinion.
Right.
But it's just that they are the lesser of two evils. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
still one system. You get what I'm saying? It's still
Yeah.
only one government system.
Right.
And that system is, excuse my term, but that system is fucked.
Mm.
You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because
Well, but the system is made up of people. So if the people are screwed up, then those people are doing screwed up things. But I mean, what if someone what if I ran for office though? You know what I mean? Then you wouldn't be, you would in theory you would think that I have your best interest at heart. So now you would be
right. But then
acting
when you get into office
right.
and those lobbyists start throwing millions of dollars in your lap, you're gonna be like, well,
Well,
I ain't gonna get them
well,
reparations, but I'll give them I'll give them
a
okay
stimulus check. I mean,
yeah,
it
I'll give them
happens.
a
You're right,
stimulus
Knight.
check, or I'll give them you know
It does happen.
I'll legalize marijuana for them. You get
Knight,
what
you
I'm
know what
saying?
though?
Like
But it does happen. But well, first of all, again, you're talking about humans, and humans have flaws. Humans have desires and have agendas. They have things that they want also, and that's when you run into problems. But again, like you said, I mean, maybe in a democracy, more times than not, you are voting for the lesser of two evils. But the fact still remains, you have to be involved, you have to be vigilant,
right,
you have
right.
to be active. And again, going back to the topic, activism, you have to
You have
participate
to be. You
because if
have
not,
to.
you get rolled over.
You get
You
rolled
know,
over.
you
Right.
get rolled over,
You have
and
to.
and
Right.
and then, like they say, if you're not at the table, you're on it.
Right.
And that's what
Right.
happens, man. But uh, uh, you know, we have to do something, because
If
right
you're not
now,
eating, you're being served up, right? You know
correct,
what I mean?
correct,
So you have to make sure that you're not on the
correct.
menu. You know what I
And
mean? And
then
the
and
only
then
way
as
to do
far as
that,
dealing with flawed humans, like someone said, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We can't hold out for the perfect candidate because that's never going to
no, we
happen.
can't. But it's not even the fact that it's the candidate. What it is the system that the candidate is in, right? So just like when we had Ellie Mistal on talking about the
Hmm.
Constitution, right,
Hmm.
in this country,
Hmm.
people have to realize that Constitution wasn't written for Black people.
Hmm.
You get what I mean? That Constitution was written by slave owners and colonists for other slave owners and colonists. You get what
Hmm.
I mean? They didn't
Right.
come to they didn't come to any Black person and say, "Yo, do you think this is a good idea for everybody to have equality or freedom?"
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
didn't. As a matter of fact, they did just the opposite. They had to compromise just to make us 3/5 of a person.
Hmm.
And
Right.
if you think also, that is still like in this day and age, this is 2022, and that same article is still in the Constitution. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so there hasn't been any movement
Well,
in that.
I mean, no, and even when Ellie was on, and I think that was a good discussion because, now we can all go, talk about if things are moving as quickly as they should, but I don't think anyone would say that there's no movement,
No, I'm
and
talking about as far as the Constitution is concerned.
well, yeah, they are. They even with that though, because as you mentioned before, when the Constitution was written, we couldn't vote. We weren't considered humans. And we can vote, and there are amendments that have happened that have benefited us. So there has been movement. Now, again, as I've always said though, that doesn't say that we don't have a long way to go to full equality. but we're moving forward. You know, we're moving forward slowly,
Very slowly.
very slowly,
Very slowly.
very slowly. Now, and you know what though, Nike, and remember though, I said that then that I don't think I think that's the beauty of the way the our form of government is set up, that it doesn't move too fast. I don't think it should move. It should happen overnight, because then the same way, as we know, Terry.
So you
Let me finish this. As we know, there are certain things that we want to see happen now. Say it again.
Lower your voice a little bit.
There's some things that we want to see happen now,
Mm-hmm.
which are positive. But now you might have some idiot that get in there that wants something negative, and they want that to happen now. So the country is supposed to move slowly. You know what I mean? And
not 400 years slowly, Stace. I mean, if you were saying slowly, like it'll take 10 years or 5 years, that's
right.
Slowly.
But look at the progress that we made in the last 40 years, though. I mean, look at where we've come since from the 60s and stuff. That might be a little more than 40 years.
Yeah. What have we done since the 60s?
Whoa. What do you mean? We haven't made any progress.
We've come far. We come a long way since the 60s.
You wouldn't think so?
After the Civil Rights Bill, what major legislation have they passed for equal rights, equality, equity?
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. But I will say this though:
we're living in a second Jim Crow right now.
What do you mean by that?
We are living under Jim Crow right now. The Jim Crow laws of the 70s.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say with the current Jim Crow? Elaborate on that. What do you mean?
All right. So you know how they do redlining,
right?
And all the other things that that keep us down.
Okay.
They will not keep us down, but make it harder for us to
move ahead.
Be equal. To move ahead, right?
Okay.
So the thing is, they may not call it redlining anymore, but there's still laws on the books that do the same thing. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have a way of manipulating the system. Like they're not. Anytime the government does something, they're not doing it for the benefit of Black people.
Now I don't know if I agree with that though. I don't agree with that. I think there's something.
Name something.
Well, I mean, look at what you've been talking about. Okay, I'm gonna give you this one. You've been talking about the law is about the anti-lynching bill. Has that passed?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that benefit Black people?
It did.
Okay. Well, then there's one.
Yeah.
You said give you one.
It took 200. Well, listen,
yeah, but you changed the conversation.
Okay. No. Before you interrupt me, let me finish.
Okay.
It took 200 tries to pass a bill that says you can't hang a Black man from a tree. You can't kill a Black man just because of the color of his skin, just because you don't like him. So if it takes 200 tries to do something as straightforward, like that's not even really
shouldn't be controversial, right?
That policy shouldn't even have to be written.
Right.
Right.
But then I got a question for you.
Right.
But is that progress?
If you want to call it progress.
So you would say it's not. So if that's the case, you said they shouldn't have passed it then, right? So you're saying it shouldn't have been passed. If it's not progress, then I'm asking you a question. Are you saying that they shouldn't have? If I asked you, is that progress? You said if you want to call it that. So I'm asking you directly, do you call that progress?
Not really, no.
So you said they shouldn't have passed it because it's not progress. It made no difference at all.
Say they shouldn't have. I didn't say
so either they should have or they shouldn't.
They should have passed it on the first attempt.
Okay, but they didn't. They passed it a month ago. Or are you saying that? But you're saying that's not progress. So why pass it, right? If it has no effect at all, well then why do you keep saying? But months ago, last year, why do you keep yelling and screaming saying they didn't pass it? They didn't pass it. Now
because they hadn't passed it.
They didn't. But what I'm saying is now they passed it. Now you're saying, oh, that's not progress. I mean,
all right, yeah, that's progress. We right where we need to be.
No, I'm not saying that either, though. I agree with that. I'm not saying that. No, again, my only point, though, Tay, as I've always said, though, you know, I agree.
I tell you, I'll give you an analogy like this.
Hmm.
It's a crumb from a loaf of bread.
Okay, I can even run with that. I'm okay with that. But you know what,
Can't
though?
you can't get full off a crumb.
But listen to this, though. When you have nothing, and somebody gives you a crumb, are you going to say no? Or no,
No,
let me
you're not gonna
rephrase that.
say
Listen,
no.
you're going to
But
take
you're
it,
gonna
right?
but you're gonna sit there and be like, yo, bro, you got this whole loaf of bread. I'm sitting here starving, and you're gonna give me a crumb.
Then you're going to fight to get more, right? You're going to fight to get more. You're going to say, I need more. I want more.
Yeah.
But you're going to take that crumb because, listen to this, though, because the loaf is built one crumb at a time, though, right?
So you satisfied with crumbs?
That was a question. No, listen.
Are you satisfied? No, I got a
Yes.
question for you. Are you satisfied with crumbs?
Yes, and this is why.
I'm not.
Because
I'm not.
listen. But do you agree that the loaf is built one crumb at a time? Do you agree with that?
No, the loaf is not built one crumb at a time.
So you just end up with a loaf. Like that doesn't make no sense.
You put dough,
Come on,
ball of dough in the wait, no. You put a whole ball of dough in the oven at the same time, and it bakes a loaf.
So and that loaf is made of crumbs.
So for you to pinch off a little crumb from me, and you got a whole loaf of bread sitting here, no, I'm not satisfied with that.
But a million pinches. But listen, but that loaf is made out of a million pinches, though, right? That loaf is made out of a million pinches, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to start somewhere.
So you're satisfied with having one crumb?
No,
I
didn't say satisfied.
They have 999,000 crumbs. You get what I'm saying? That don't make sense.
I do. I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. I think we disagree on, I guess, the speed. You know, the speed of it. I say, as we keep going, you know, coming back to this, that I understand that progress takes time, and I'm okay. You know,
you're okay with the 400 years we've been waiting.
I'm okay with the wrong way. I didn't mean to say it that way. You know, that's the wrong way to say it. Not that I'm okay, but I understand that progress like this takes time. So I get it. Versus saying that, you know, I everything has to happen overnight. That's not going to happen at all.
I never said everything has to happen overnight. And my only point is it hasn't been overnight. It's been a
lot of nights.
It's been a long journey. It's been a long struggle. And we're still not where we need to be because we keep doing the same things over and over and over and over.
I agree. We're not where we're supposed to be.
We expect different results. That's the part that blows my mind. Like we do the same things over and over and over, and then we expect that. Oh well, why are we still?
See, I mean, but see again though, Nike. See, but again, the premise of what you're saying is where I differ, because you're right. We do things, we do some things over and over. We repeat certain things, but like we just talked about with the anti-lynching bill, sometimes we get a victory.
Sometimes they throw you a bone, and okay, I'm good with that.
I didn't say I'm good with it. I didn't say I'm good with it.
You did say.
Well, I said
I'm good with a crumb.
No. I said I'm good with a crumb. I said that was the wrong way of saying it. You know, not that I'm good with it, but I realize we have a long way to go. But I do understand that progress takes time. You know.